Hello friends. In this session, we're going to learn how to create blocks in AutoCAD. Blocks are actually objects that we can use in our projects. For example, if you have this furniture file, you can easily select, say, this item from it. Press Ctrl+C on your keyboard to copy it. You can create a new file or, in any project you're working on, just press Ctrl+V to paste it. Just specify an area. Click on a point, and it will be placed for you and positioned in that area. You can use it. Now, all you have to do is press Ctrl+C on this, and then again press Ctrl+V to paste it in your file or duplicate it. The special thing about the block is, let me duplicate another one of these and put it here. Basically, I'm copying it. The advantage is that it makes our file much lighter. For example, if we have a project and we're designing a hotel where, say, 200 of these tables and chairs need to be copied and used, when they're in block form, it makes your file much lighter and less bulky. As a result, working on your AutoCAD file becomes faster, and if you want to edit or modify it, you can easily do so. I'll show you an example so you can understand what I mean. Then we'll move on to creating a block, and I'll teach you how to do it. We double-click on it and enter the block editor environment. For example, I'll delete this part at the back. I'll delete these sections and close it. I'll save it. You can see that the changes have also happened in the other blocks that we had copied from it. Now, imagine in that project I had copied this 200 times and wanted to apply these changes to all of them. That would have been a really time-consuming process. But with this system and by using blocks, we were able to easily make the changes in just one, and have them apply to the rest as well. So how can I create a block myself? To start, I'll draw an object. For example, I want to draw a bathtub. I'll use the rectangle tool. For instance, I'll draw something like this here. It's just a rough and approximate example. I just want to show you how to create a block. I'll place this here and right-click. I'll position it on this point. I'll select Convert to Arc. Then I'll choose the Circle tool. And I'll draw a circle here as well. As you can see, the parts of this bathtub are separate from each other. This rectangle around it is separate. This is a separate polyline, and this is a separate circle. To turn it into a block, I'll go here and click Create. I can assign a name to it. Any name I have in mind. For example, I'll select bathtub here and write it in. To introduce and define my block, I click this button in the Select Object section, draw a window around everything to select it all, and press Enter. The same block definition window opens up again. I need to set a pick point for it. I click on this button. Usually, we pick either the bottom left corner or the center. As the pick point, I click and select this corner. I can also set the block unit. For example, I'll set it to centimeters. It's up to you to choose, and I'll explain the other options to you later. As you can see here, it also shows you a preview. I click OK. Now, its unit has changed to centimeters, and a block has been defined for me. As soon as you create a block, when you select it, you'll see a blue square appear here, which is actually the pick point we chose. From this point, I can drag it and change its position. Now I'll press Ctrl+C to go back. To remove it from block mode, I'll try to create this block again. As we said, we click on Create. For Select Object, all the objects are selected. We set a pick point for it. This time, I'll choose the top left corner. I'll set the units to centimeters instead of inches, and here, make sure the Allow Exploding box is checked. I click OK, and it says it must have a name. I had forgotten to enter a name, so I'll name it Base Top and click OK. Now, see, when I select it, this time I can move it and change its position from the top left corner. To break it apart or explode the block, just select it and click on Explode here. The shortcut is X. I press X on the keyboard and hit Enter. You see, it got divided into its components and is no longer a block. Now, again, I want to turn this into a block. I press Ctrl+C to go back to the original state. I can select the whole thing before creating a block, then click on the Create button. It doesn't make any difference. It does the same thing for us. I set it back to centimeters again. I define a name for it. I select the pick point. I set it here, and I want to explain these three options to you and what difference they make. By default, it's set to Convert to Block. This means that when we click OK in this mode, it turns our object here into a block. If it's set to Retain and we click OK, you see, it hasn't been converted into a block. The components are still present here. But here, in this section, if I come, this base top has been defined for me. When I click on it, I can place it here as a block. Okay, now I can click on Copy and make several copies of it. Okay, these are blocks. There's another mode as well. I select it. I click on the key again, set a pick point for it, and I can press Delete. Here, it tells me how many objects I have. Well, one is this circle, one is this polyline, and the other is our bigger polyline. I have 3 objects that I want to turn into a single block together. If it's set to delete and I click OK, well, I forgot to give it a name. I'll name it Base Top Delete so it's clear that it relates to this option, and then I click OK. What happens is, it completely removes the block from here. But in the Insert window, as you can see, Base Top Delete is there. I click on it, and here I can place it as many times as I want. Just click and place it here. Like this. So, what advantage does this block give us? I double-click on one of them to open the block definition window. I can edit it, make changes to it, or apply modifications. There's another way too. I can right-click on it and select Block Editor, which will open the Block Editor window. Now, I click on Block Editor to exit from it. I can also just double-click on it. In this window that opens, I introduce my block to it and click OK, and it proceeds. In the Block Editor window, I can make changes to it here. For example, I click on this polyline. Here, I set it to Convert Line and place it here like this. Now I click on Block Editor, tell it to save the changes, and you can see that these changes are applied everywhere. There's another way I can access that Block Editor window. When my block is selected, I can click on Edit and the same window will open. Again, I click OK and apply the changes. For example, I can select this and delete it. Now I click Save, and this is how my block turns out. In this way, we were able to create a block for ourselves and use it multiple times in the project. In the upcoming sessions and tutorials, I'll explain this block editor window to you in more detail, and you'll get fully familiar with it. Until the next sessions, goodbye.